this is a story, and if I can mention again, I've got Dr. Robert Malone next week, so I'll just plug that again.
Hearts of oak.
Absolutely. Looking forward, second time. This was an interview he did with Tucker Carlson, and I think Robert Malone's life has just gone crazy since that Joe Rogan interview back in December. He's been on everything. But this was an interview a couple of days ago on Tucker, and he talked about this link between Moderna and Spotify, which is a fascinating link. I don't know if we're going to play it.
This is about political warfare and information warfare, full stop. And all of this chatter that many have bought into, that this is about culture wars or it's about vaccines. No, it's not. It's about power and money. It's about Spotify's market cap dropping. So fascinating point is that the major owner of Spotify, the top owner of Spotify, is also the top owner of Moderna. Yes. Okay. So we have to kind of get out of the frame of reference that's being pitched to us, that this is about culture wars, because it's about way more than culture wars. It's about power and money. And culture wars is a nice, easy way to divide us against ourselves.
Right. It's just fascinating. He's dropped so many, I think, truth bombs that have driven the left absolutely crazy.
And I think, compelled by YouTube, we will have to say we disavow everything he's ever said. We're just interested in what he said there. Officially.
Absolutely. And you saw Tucker just watching it, and I've watched the full interview. But so I thought I want to delve a little bit deeper into this. If I can just touch on Moderna and Spotify. Obviously, we'll know them well, although we don't know Moderna very well. But Moderna is a biotechnology company, develops medicines based on mRNA. Only mRNA, nothing else. It transfers genetic information to the cellular machinery that makes proteins to sustain life, and we've heard all about this. But it started off in 2010, Moderna Therapeutics. 2013, the company was awarded $25 million by DARPA to develop mRNA vaccines. DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which is basically the dark arts of the intelligence community, or dark arts of the defense community in America. And so much coming out of that. But in 2018, the company rebranded as Moderna Inc. and further increased its portfolio of vaccine development. Then in 2018, Moderna became a public company via the largest biotech initial public offering in history. Then through 2019, it actually hadn't made any money. It actually had lost 1.5 billion. Not very successful as a company since its inception. And in 2019 alone, it lost $500 million. And then along comes a vaccine from Moderna.
Well, along came 2020.
Along came 2020. The US government, you think these companies actually provide this out of the goodness of their heart? Do you think they actually want to save humanity? But as Dr. Malone said, it's nothing to do with that. It's all about business and the bottom line. But Moderna were given nearly $10 billion in US taxpayers' money in research and development for the purchase of 500 million doses of the mRNA, which includes the full cost of clinical development. And yet they make all the money back from it. And Moderna, a company that has never made a profit until 2020, is worth $65 billion. So it's huge growth. That's Moderna, one of the companies he mentioned. Spotify, people know obviously a lot more about Spotify, one of the largest music streaming companies. 400 million monthly active users, 180 million paying subscribers. Its annual revenue of 10 billion. It's only worth 31 billion, so it's a much smaller, completely different sector. But what is the link? And it's this story here, which I could actually only find in 2 or 3 places. One of them was the Tennessee Star, which obviously I look at regularly. But I was someone's going to carry this.
Outlets.
Yeah, but someone's going to carry this story. This is a huge story, and I don't think it's tinfoil hat territory, although with all this stuff you worry how deep down the rabbit hole you go. But I was looking, and I looked at the breakdown of shareholders in each company, and it is true. But here we have the Tennessee Star, largest owner of Spotify stock, also largest owner of Moderna stock. There's Joe Rogan with a big smile in front of a vial of Moderna vaccine. Amid the controversy over world-famous Spotify podcaster Joe Rogan hosting guest Dr. Robert Malone, credited with inventing mRNA vaccine technology that is used in COVID-19 vaccines, Malone revealed information about a massive conflict of interest. So on that, which aired last week, he revealed the largest stakeholder in Spotify, which has been under pressure to censor Rogan for spreading misinformation, is the largest stakeholder in Moderna, one of the two companies distributing mRNA vaccines. And I went and looked through all the details, and then after doing my research, the Tennessee Star article popped up. I thought I didn't have to do my research, but you go and you read the largest stakeholder in Moderna is Bail Gifford, and the company, which owns almost 46 million shares of the company's stock, valued at more than 11 billion. Bailey Guilford is also the largest stakeholder in Spotify, owning 22 million shares, valued at 22 billion. Now, I'd never come across Bailey Gifford, and it's interesting because these companies that kind of behind the scenes are involved in a lot of things we know very little about. And that's why a story like this is amazing, because it exposes, I guess, the very dark side of finance, and it connects a lot of the dots and who actually controls what's happening, which none of us really see in everyday life. But it's a worldwide asset management fund founded in Scotland. I don't think I blame the Scots, which is headquartered in New York, and manages a portfolio of
this company. You're all guilty.
Scott, $500 billion. Now, the other really interesting thing in this, which Dr. Malone didn't come up with, but the Tennessee Star have. Bailey Gifford today is owned wholly by 47 partners. Who are the 47 partners that own it? Well, all of whom work within the firm. Growth has been organic, no mergers or acquisitions, and they said they're committed to remaining independent. It does not disclose who the 47 partners are. Who knows who owns this huge investment company that has its fingers in all different other companies? And as Dr. Malone said, this episode with Spotify and Rogan, it's not about free speech. It's about, it seems to be about damaging the ability of a company to generate money. That's what it boils down to.
I mean, always the old saying is like, always follow the money.
Yeah.
And you'll find what's really going on.
Exactly.
But I think you may be right here.
And in 2020, the company shifted its investment strategy towards Chinese-based companies. So it's no longer focused on, it's based in Edinburgh, but over in China. And then that's the end of that story. Let me go down. So the another part of this which came out was the next one, this tweet from Jordan Chachel, who's a independent journalist. He has a blue tick, which means what he says is true.
100%.
It's been fact-checked already, so you don't have to come in and do that. And his tweet from February the 12th says, the head of Moderna has deleted his Twitter account, it appears. Then Jordan makes some allegations. Over the past 2 years, on a weekly basis, Banchel, who's the head of Moderna, has dumped Moderna stock. He's now cashed out of hundreds of millions of dollars. He's sold about 20 million worth of shares in 2022 alone. So in the last 6 weeks, he's made $20 million.
He decided to cash out in the last 6 weeks.
He did. So it makes, this fits with there is a story, if we go back in the Mail, and this was Pfizer and Moderna. This was 3rd of December. So, of course, I had to fact check it with the Daily Mail, which of course is always accurate. And the headline here is, Pfizer and Moderna shareholders pocketed $7.8 billion in a week after Omicron was discovered. The Moderna CEO, Stefan Banchel, saw stocks increase by $623 million. Top shareholders and bosses at Pfizer and Moderna made $3.9 billion each. That's in that week. And campaigners have criticized them for not making the vaccine open and available to everyone. But if you scroll down, and there's a table at the bottom, and keep going. And there, up. So it's this table here. So who made the most money after the emergence of Omicron? One of shareholders' finances. So just scroll down a little bit and you see these companies. And again, it's just interesting because you follow the money on a story and you see all these companies. Now, again, most of us have no idea unless you're involved in the finance industry. But these companies are the ones that have made their money. Vanguard Group. Who's Vanguard Group? Well, it has assets of 7.5 trillion. 7.5 trillion. This will set the agenda for any country. Then you've got BlackRock Inc. Well, that's got assets of 9 trillion. These are colossal giants that actually have massive say in what happens in everything around the world. And I obviously...
I'm noticing two names there on the right in particular. As you can see, what was that? Bailey, Gifford and Co. made 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
And then this man, Mr. Bansal, making 623 million himself.
So you've got BlackRock and Vanguard, they're the big, 9 billion, 9 trillion, sorry, try to get my billions and trillions mixed up, 7.5 trillion. Then State Street Corp on the left, the third one, that actually has assets of 4 trillion and it made just under a billion. Then you've got Bale and Gillard, half a trillion. Capital World Investors, 500 billion. These are all the assets they have. And Flagship Pioneering, which is there on the right, it's a little baby. It only has 15 billion. So it's only been able, it was added 500 million to that. So it's done quite well. But these are, again, just massive companies that have huge say, very secretive. We heard about the Bale and Gillard, that they have 47 investors. They control it all. No one knows who those 47 are. You could speculate, but that mightn't be a wise idea, but who knows? So I'm waiting for a journalist to actually go deeper and find out who those individuals are that actually run the show.
The CEO himself, though, the fact that in December, you remember everyone was panicking. Everyone in government was panicking.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, no, this could be death on a stick. We all have to lock down now.
Yeah.
Everyone get your booster shot. Got to get your booster shot. I remember Nadine Dorries even openly saying, no, none of us fearmongers about anything but booster shots.
Nadine Dorries.
And all the stock goes up. And then all of a sudden, we get to January, a little bit of February, and this guy cashes out. All his money. He's the CEO of Moderna, cashes out his Moderna shares.
He's been CEO since 2011. Again, Moderna's never made a profit. It's never made a vaccine. It's never made a drug that succeeded. Moderna hasn't made anything which actually has been marketed to the public until
except its vaccine, which is pure.
Until this one that's appeared. We could go, we'll not go down the rabbit hole on that. We'll stay on the finance side. But that Moderna stock price, it's gone from $100 in December 2020 to $500 6 months later. So obviously the fear, the worry, the concern, the danger, all of those words fit into actually boosting their bottom line. And what these companies, it's all about return for your shareholder. So the more fear that goes out, that makes people think that you need more drugs that this company produces and therefore their share price increases. That's all good. At the end of the year, that's what it's about. It's not about how many vaccines did you give, actually how much money did you make from those vaccines. That's what it's all about. But the final story linked to this, which was a few days ago, about bad news is good news. So you hear a story and you think that sounds good news, but no, it's always bad news. Pharma companies, they make money from medical emergencies, from bad news. The more dangerous a virus is, the more we need pharma companies. This was a story 9th of February. And the headline is South African doctor who discovered Omicron variant slams pressure from countries to make the virus sound worse than it actually is.
A lot of people will remember this.
Yeah.
She was going around telling everyone, no, calm down. You're being insane, especially the UK and the West, especially with just look at Canada for a minute.
Yeah.
Insistence on mandates. And she was saying it's not that bad. The Omicron variant is not as bad as previous variants. That's what she said. And then nobody wanted to admit that she said it.
Nope. But here, so she says, Angelique Cortez, one of the first to discover Omicron strain. I remember watching the video she was putting out. But I've talked to other, and I looked at all the data on South Africa, and initially it came out and it was panic. New variant Omicron. It's like the latest one is Deltacron. That's even that's even worse.
But I'm thinking back to the guy dumping his shares.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's ramping up this fear. Ramp it up, ramp it up, ramp it up. All throughout December, stock price goes up and up and up. Gets to January, the CEO of Moderna cashes out
Yeah.
because the South African doctor who discovered it has been telling everyone, calm down. And now it's becoming more and more evident that she was right. That's the point he cashes out. He's right. I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't need to be here.
I'm imagining her getting a phone call from someone. I'd say it could be much more dangerous. You can't let people be complacent. They have to be worried because fear is the motivator for all of this. It's the strongest motivator you can get.
I mean, this is pure speculation, but I don't know if you can go back a link, John, just for a second. And we'll look at how much. What did he make? He made, personally, $623 million. How many million would it take to bribe someone to shut up? I mean, I bet she got a phone call asking her, could you shut up? Calling her a spreader of medical misinformation, whatever else.
But this is the individual. That's a phenomenal. So 3.9 billion were made, and Stefan Banchel made what, 20%, 20% of it? Not these companies that have 9 trillion, but actually it's just him, that bloke, made 600 million. And I could imagine the panic, this woman talking about it and thinking, no, give her a ring. This is bad. And I remember talking to people and they said, Omicron. I've heard bad things from South Africa. And I met friends who I think, well, you'll read the Telegraph. So I'll give you, here's 6 stories from the Telegraph in the last 3 days that says, this is good. And, no, it's true. I've heard someone and they were quite sick with it. But follow the data. But it shows that people have failed to systematically look through the information and simply go on hearsay. A friend down the pub has mentioned that they felt quite ill with it, so it must be bad. Forget about all the data coming out of everyone. If their mate said it was bad, then it's true. And it shows how it is, as Robert Malone said, that mass psychosis, that it just grips people and you can no longer engage with them. You can no longer present what's true because they've bought the whole, not the whole lie. They've bought everything hook, line and sinker and just accept it all. So yeah, this is about the money, and I'm looking forward to seeing who those 47. So if people are watching and you want to find out who those 47 people are, go and find out.
Please
drop it email. We'll do a whole program on it because it'll be fascinating.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com and subscribe there to support us. We're entirely funded by our members. And you also get access to all of our great premium content, such as this long-form video, The Politics of V for Vendetta, in which John and I cover the book and the graphic novel, and the movie of V for Vendetta, and just analyse the themes that are contained within it. And once you've done that, you can go over to Getter and follow me at Carl Benjamin and tell me how much good work John had done on that podcast. Thanks a lot and see you next time.